What's going on, guys? How y'all doing? This is Coach D. Darrell Spears here, aka the Black YouTube Therapist, aka Coach D. Darrell. Once again, happy to be here. I want to have a discussion with you. We're going to talk about a mental health issue. I'm going to talk about the diagnoses of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I would like to talk about how it presents itself, but mainly focusing on the armed forces, which pretty much makes up a large percentage of people who have been diagnosed with PTSD. I want you all to understand that PTSD is a stress-related disorder. PTSD is characterized by behaviors that were triggered from near-death experiences or trauma-related experiences or negative experiences in which people felt that they were being threatened, the livelihood of others, or viewing others in the process that experienced that risk. And so when it is displayed, there's an irrational fear by experiencing stimuli in your environment, whether it's visual, scent, touch, hearing, that remind you of those traumatic events. It will spark a hypervigilance to protect yourself in that situation. It can alter your mind and your thought process and thinking you're still in that particular environment, no matter how long ago that it occurred. I don't care whether it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or 10 years ago. If certain external factors trigger that behavior, you are more likely to act out in a way as if you are still experiencing that in its initial output towards you. So I decided to talk about PTSD in watching some videos. I was watching a video of a content creator who creates skits, and he gave a pretty good, very accurate display of what PTSD is. And they used a veteran as a poster child for that illness, in which in most cases the military is doing a poor job of treating people who have PTSD. And I know people on YouTube who have experienced PTSD. Some are veterans, some are not. I know I have treated people with PTSD for years. I had a very, very lucrative contract with the VA from 2021 to 2020, early part of 23, and in multiple counties in the Dallas and Houston area, in which we treated people with these illnesses. And I also want to highlight that people who have PTSD also will develop other forms of mental illness, primarily illnesses that are mood related, and even psychosis, or even some other anxiety related illness, and etc. People with PTSD, particularly when untreated, can experience a very, very difficult time functioning in their environment, in which there's a high chance of spontaneous things occurring that could trigger a post-traumatic response. And it can be a very, very difficult illness to treat, because you could be having a great day, and then you can hear a siren and it can trigger their response. You could be having a good relaxing day, everything's going well, and then you hear police sirens, or you may see, particularly if you were in certain wars, particularly in the Middle East, you see Mid-Eastern or Arabic people, it could trigger that type of response. I have had countless veterans over the years who could not go to shopping malls or grocery stores, particularly in diverse areas where there are a lot of Asians, Mid-Eastern labeled people per se. And if they saw someone that they deemed as being of that ethnic group, it could spark them to act out in a violent rage. Also, I would also like to talk about the unspoken issues of the military. Our military, US of A, causing PTSD due to the mistreatment of abuse, physical and sexual and psychological abuse of its own soldiers. Many of the women that I have treated in the military experience post-traumatic stress due to sexual assault, rape, and other near raping incidents. And unfortunately, our military turned a blind eye to those issues, particularly if it involved a commanding or higher ranking officer. I have experienced countless situations. I've even had situations in which men experienced raping or sexual assault related situations from other men in the military, and they're still traumatized and have difficulties functioning due to those events. Also, we want to look at the fact that near-death experiences, it could be a car wreck, it could be being robbed, kidnapped, being beaten almost near to death, the fear of seeing someone experiencing any of those events, seeing someone die, seeing someone nearly die, can spark those events. Just the other day, I was treating a guy that witnessed a family member dying. And the thought of it was so devastating to that person that it's very difficult for them to even recall the incident, even though they know it occurred. And so in this, I'm just basically talking about the fact that PTSD is a disease that is prevalent in American society due to the fact of all types of extreme situations occurring, near death related situations that people may have a difficult time coping with and getting over. And I do think that best form of treatment is medication, and dialectic or cognitive behavioral therapy would be good in treating those types of illnesses. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Appreciate you all for being here. This is your Black YouTube therapist, D. Darrell Spears. Y'all have a great day.